to talk to us about life is a balancing act. And it might surprise you what she's going to share with us today. Lana, welcome to the revolution.
Well, thank you so much, Leslie. I'm so delighted to be here, and it's been fabulous so far.
Oh, it is a beautiful day, isn't it, Lana?
It's a beautiful day and a beautiful summit, and I congratulate you
Thank you.
and
Thank you.
all the speakers.
We have some wonderful people sharing such amazing wisdom. And so you're here to share with us today too. And I know you work in brain health and in neuroplasticity and teaching us about how we can, we can make our brains healthier, but you didn't just start there. Tell us a
No,
little bit about what brought you to where you are and being so passionate about sharing this with all of us.
well, being that we all have our stories, right? So I'm just going to give you a couple of sentences about my story. So, 46 years ago, I emigrated. I'm an immigrant to the United States from South Africa with two little girls. One was 6, one was 7, and a husband that I was married to at that point 13 years. When I came here, I had not really nothing other than I knew that I would always be living in the States. My mother was born in Philadelphia, my dad in South Africa, so I just had an affinity to coming to this country. After 6 months being here, I decided to kick out my husband, and I did. And actually, I have three husbands. So at that point, I just said, you know what, I don't have any support system, but I'm going to take care of my two daughters. And fast forward, I was always very interested in the body, always very interested in um, movement. And for the last 43 years, I have been a wellness specialist, living and teaching and lecturing in 4 different countries. So I just one day, I was 31, I think, or 32 at the time, read an article that said that at 35 years old, that's when we start to get osteoporosis or osteopenia, and that's when the bones start to deteriorate. And that was just a trigger for me, and I started my research and my master's degree and everything to do with exercise, movement, and health and wellness. So that's how that started. Then 14 years ago, I actually discovered that I had a brain. I had no connection to my brain whatsoever. I don't know if anybody else does or has felt that way here, but I didn't. And I came across this brain body international certification, and I got certified, and I've been working with that company for 14 years. And I specialize in cognitive decline, and Alzheimer's in particular, also Parkinson's, and anything to do with movement is my jam. So that's kind of it in a nutshell. I could go on the whole summit, but I know that time is limited.
Right, right. I love this. I love that you said I discovered I had a brain. And I think in discovering, it's actually that you can use your brain and that your brain can be helpful to you if we know how to do that, right?
Totally. I mean, the brain is actually everything. You cannot make any change in your life or any transformation or any revolution without, in some way, incorporating your brain. Your brain is your control center. And you mentioned neuroplasticity, and that's really my specialty, is helping folks learn strategies. And there have been a lot of excellent strategies today, but learning strategies to change what they're stuck in, because most of the people I have worked with have been in very comfortable in their groove of comfortability.
Right.
And we know that that's not a great way to be. We want to change things up. And in neuroplasticity, it's the ability of the brain and the nervous system to change in structure and in function and in the experiences we have and the lifestyle choices we make.
I love that, Lana. I can't tell you how many times I've heard people, that's just the way my brain works, or my brain won't let me think that way, or whatever it is. And I'm here to just disagree 100% with that. We
Yeah.
can choose how our brain works and we can teach it to work differently.
Well, absolutely. I've had astounding situations with people in Alzheimer's, in Parkinson's, and I think it was Judy was saying that. And by the way, if Judy's there, I'm pushing 80, so don't feel old. I feel I'm in the prime of my life right now, and I am. I
Yes.
have more energy than any 30-year-old I know. In fact, I said to my newly that's a story for another story. But I have a new doctor, and I didn't have a doctor throughout COVID, and I've only had one doctor since I'm in the United States, and that was for 25 years. And so I'm a holistic practitioner, and I do pretty much everything for myself. No interventions, no medications, not even over the counter. And I teach people and support people to do that as a first resort, because what tends to happen is that people go the traditional route. But I think I diverted into some kind of tangent there. I'm not sure what it was.
Yes, it's fine because I always know that what we're supposed to do or what we're supposed to talk about is what we do talk about. There's
Yeah.
someone here that needs to hear it. So thank you for sharing that. So you're talking a little bit about balance. Life is a
Yeah.
balancing act. So tell us a
Yeah.
little bit about that.
So balance is near to my heart because I know so many people who have fallen, and in that regard, balance. And my mother took a fall when she was 92 years old, and that she broke her femur, her big bone in her leg. And from that moment on, for the next 9 years, she got Alzheimer's. And so it's always been something that's really dear to me, as I said. Um, and it's not about standing on one leg, for 30 seconds or the required 45 seconds, depending on your age, so that you can prevent a fall. Yes, that's really important, and we know it can be deadly. But we are in this world that we're in right now, in particular, juggling balls all the time, from
Right?
our family to our health to our work to our relationships to our sleep to our food. There's so many things, hormones, all of the things that
Right?
are not just in midlife, but in life. And it's so challenging to be able to juggle those balls in a competent way today, because we tend to go in one direction, and that direction takes up all our space.
Right.
And then the other aspects and the other balls are not even evident or in the picture. So it's, physical, mental, spiritual, emotional, cognitive, all of those things need to be in balance, because our body, our whole entire body, it is or should be like an orchestra, where all the instruments, from the 78 organs to all the hormones to all the systems, all need to be in sync, all need to be in harmony. But that takes a lot of work. And I can tell you, because I've been doing the work now for 43 years, to the detriment of my family. I was, and I'm going to say I was, I nearly said alcoholic, a workaholic. And I've just been taught by my daughter, and by the way, my daughter, like yours, is going to be a featured speaker at my summit coming up. I have a summit coming up, as you know, and it's called The Truth About. And I really am a seeker of truth. And um, it's it's a very strange time we're living in, especially COVID. I think really did a number on everybody, and there's after effects and side effects and all of that. But Judy said our body has the natural ability to heal, and I believe that completely. I come from a family of doctors, and I took the other road, the alternative road,
Right.
to be a holistic healer. So like I mentioned, I work with people with cognitive decline, but also with physical issues.
And really, I agree with you, Lana. We can't work on one without working on the other. That, you know, and not that it's one or the other. There's so many things, just like you said, all of the systems working together. But that is how we truly have sustained healing,
Yes,
is when we do that all together, when we understand that all of that, requires our time and ability
attention.
and attention, right?
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely. So yeah, one of the things that I learned 14 years ago was the primary way to stimulate and activate your brain function and keep it strong and vibrant
right.
is through movement. So everybody do your puzzles and do your whatever you do, your, Sudoku or your Mahjong, whatever it is, absolutely. But it doesn't activate all the functions of the brain. And the program that I learned uh, 14 years ago, that I've been teaching and teaching people how to teach it for 14 years internationally, is all about activating your five primary functions to stimulate and activate it through your kinesthetic learning, through your body.
Hmm.
As opposed to, if you're just sitting and you're doing something with your fingers or, on the computer, computer games and so on. Those are all good. And I tell you to continue doing that. But think about doing it through your body, and we'll do something at the end of my talk so that I can give them an example.
Beautiful, beautiful. It is really important to go on all planes, isn't it?
Yes,
Visual, auditory, kinesthetic. I know I've not gotten them all, but the movement, your body movement is so important in that healing too.
very, very much so. So, yes, it's very interesting to me always how people resist. And like I said, I mentioned the stuckness because it's very, I think the hardest thing for any human being is to change
Hmm.
and to understand that it takes a lot of action, which is so important. We can sit on all these summits and all these webinars and so on and absorb. But if we don't take the action and we don't do at least one thing that somebody has suggested during this time, then it's lost to us and we just go on to the next one. So it's
Very
really
true.
important to take the action, to be compliant, to write a contract with yourself, to journal, to do all the work that we need to do, because I've changed my life so dramatically in all the places, immigrating, then living and working in other countries, and just different things that have happened in my life. And I'm so grateful for all of it, because I do believe in everything that happens to us is a blessing and a lesson.
I love you speaking about this, Lana. There's a couple of things. Judy also talked about it, blessing and a lesson, and taking those detours and how important they are. But it's just so important to look back on those things and see that, but also the action. Like you said, we could sit here and we can absorb all this, we can take all the notes we want, we can do all that, but the change is in taking the steps. But you don't have to
Yes.
take them all at once. So remember that. I'm
No.
not asking you to take all the steps at once, just taking a step. And that's what you said. Taking a
Yeah.
step from something
Yes.
you learned today. It's,
Yes.
that's where the change happens.
Yeah. Exactly.
It's so important.
So, and the other thing I find that there's, and I don't know if it's a sign of the times, probably a lot to do with it, but people need to connect to this.
Hmm.
The connection part is crucial. Once you can connect, whether it's by tapping or by patting or by giving yourself a massage and touching your arms and rubbing them and feeling it. The other thing I always tell my clients and my patients as well, you need to talk to your brain. You need to tell your brain, like I do every day of my life in my gratitudes that I do with my daughter, I love you, brain. Thank you for what you do for me. And your brain hears you. Your cells hear you. So if you give that positive affirmation daily to yourself, in no matter what, you might, everybody laughs when I say about, tell your brain you love it, but really, your brain is lovable, and we want to love our brains. It does so much for us.
I love that. I love that. And when we talk about changing, I know I said it earlier, when those thoughts come up that we're trying to change, it's thank you. Thank you for trying to be here and keep me safe. Let's take this next step forward, right? And that's
Yeah,
exactly what you're saying. Give it kindness. That's where we change things, isn't it?
totally. The other thing I wanted, because my summit is about truth. I'd like to just talk about two different things. The one is about misinformation, disinformation, all of that stuff, which we
Yeah.
know is rampant. But the one thing is about genetics, and the other thing is about red meat, because I've been hearing people talk about food. So in my summit, I'm talking about those two things.
Yeah.
So Dr. Bruce Lipton, who I've followed for decades, who I'm certain you know of, is
Hmm.
a geneticist who's been around for 50 years. He's amazing. He's in his 80s and he's still doing genetic research. Said that there are three reasons people get ill. There are three reasons for disease. And it's easy to remember because it's all with T's.
Okay.
And they're not in any order. One is trauma,
Hmm.
one is thoughts,
Yep.
and the next one is toxicity.
Mm.
So, and he's also a person who, in his research, has found that the genetic propensity of getting a disease, like people say to me all the time, oh, my Aunt Mary had arthritis, so now I've got arthritis, or my father, grandfather had Alzheimer's, so that's why I'm getting dementia. No, that's not true. There's a 2 to 5% genetic propensity to getting diseases and illnesses. 2 to 5%. This man is a world renowned
Yes.
researcher. That's the first thing. The second thing is, exactly a year ago, on the 20th of June, I became carnivore. I ditched 35 years of being basically a 98% plant based, talking about it, researching, giving workshops on it, doing all of that until I discovered the food that I believe to be the most important food for human beings and the most nutrient dense food in the world is red meat with fat. When you know that your brain is 60% fat and you know that 20% is cholesterol, why would we be? I'm just asking you this question to think about it.
Right.
Why would we be lowering our cholesterol, which is one of the most important things that we have in our body? And I can tell you this as a dementia specialist, it causes dementia and Alzheimer's when you lower your cholesterol below 200.
Wow. You
I
don't hear
know
that very
it's
often, Lana.
no, it's very counterintuitive, and I'm kind of revolutionary, like your like your name. I cause revolutions wherever I go. But I've really researched this very, very, very well, and I've done it, and it's done wonders for my life. It's the best I've ever felt, and my energy is off the roof. I wanted to mention energy, but I don't think I have time. So,
Yes, I know
and it
you wanted to do something. So before we do that, Lana, because I know you have so much to share, and I know we could go on for a long time, but you have a free gift for everyone here today.
I do. I have an ebook that is 5 tips for nurturing your brain.
Love it. Love it. And the link is there in the chat. So please, get that free gift. If you can just put a one on the chat that it's working, just so we know for sure that it's there. And sorry, I'm reading the comments. So you have so much knowledge, Lana, and like I said, we could talk for a long time, I'm sure, and blow people away with what you're sharing, that the change can happen when we just take the time and take the action. Now, if you want to hear um, Lana's talk again, upgrade to VIP. You can get all the recordings. There's great recordings, lots of really great gifts. And, it's just $47 it just, there's so much worth to it for sure. So our next speaker up is, we'll get that. It's coming.
Is there a schedule somewhere?
Marilyn, we can talk about that after. Next up is Peggy O'Neill. Thank you. And so Peggy is going to be joining us up next here at a quarter to the hour. Lana, what would you like to leave us with before we go off and take a little bit of a break?
I would like to encourage you to not just let things go and give up because that's not productive and it doesn't help your situation. I encourage you to connect to what's going on in your life. Really make a connection and say, have this is what's doing something positive for me, and this is what's not so positive for me. And then once you can think of one thing that you need desperately to change, whether it's a health issue, whether it's a relationship issue, whether it's toxicity in your system, in your life, make that change, make that decision, make that work for you in a way that's really going to serve you well.
Thank you so much.
And just so you know, everybody do a triangle with your right hand. Triangle, just triangle, right hand. and we do it 10 times before we add on, and then a circle with your left hand simultaneously.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, you can close your eyes. It helps for up to 40% focus, attention, and then do a straight line with one of your legs. You can do like a vertical or horizontal, and then reverse direction of your arms,
Beautiful.
and then you go to the other side. So those are some of the exercises that I do. And like many of you there, I am a dancer. I've been dancing since I'm 5 years old, and I teach dance, I teach Pilates, I teach yoga, I teach all kinds of things in addition to what I do. I teach balance too.
Beautiful,
Yeah.
beautiful. I see some people are having a challenge with the link. So don't worry, we will get the correct link.
Oh,
And make sure we've got the right one. And make sure we put that in the chat. Harriet, it looks like it's a Google Doc. Was the link, is that what you meant for it to be?
I'm not sure because Julie, my administrative assistant, set it up. If there's
Okay.
any problem with that and it doesn't happen, I'll ask her to redo it. And is that okay that we can
Yes,
send it?
absolutely. So just so everybody knows, I will be sending an email out to anybody that registered with the free gifts so that you will make sure that that link is correct. If you would like this in particular before that email goes out, please email the support line, support@riseofthephoenix.org. And once we get the link, we will send it directly to you once we get that from Lana. Thank you so much, Lana, for being here and sharing. I love this. I love this, and I could talk about this forever as well, Lana. So thank you
Thank you.
for being here, and thank you for creating this revolution in our lives.
Yes, and thank you for having me. I appreciate it so much. Thank you all.
Beautiful. Thank you.